Today I'm going to give you a few tips on how to keep catching carp during those colder months, and my first tip is to fish the right water. By that I mean targeting the lakes with a higher stock of carp and also generally shallower in depth. Now, shallower water really responds a lot better to those slight temperature changes, so really keep an eye out for those milder spells coming in because you can really make hay on those days. In terms of fishing a higher stock venue, it's all about stacking the odds in your favour during those colder months. It's a really hard slog carp fishing during those winter months, so you want to really stack those odds in your favour, and fishing a higher stock venue will really do that. For today, the setup I've got with me is the Black Widow EXT 10 foot 3.5 pound test curve rods, and I've paired them up with the Black Widow 25A reels. And the venue that I'm actually fishing today, all the swims are finished off with gravel, so I've got with me the Black Widow low level 3 rod pods, and that is the perfect small to medium sized venue setup. I'm going to be casting 40 to 50 yards, no more than that, towards islands, even in marginal areas, and I might even be switching over to solid bags and that 3.5 pound test curve rod with that extra backbone. It's going to be perfect for that. My next tip in terms of winter carp fishing is to always keep your eyes on the water. During the winter, carp shows can be few and far between, and just spotting that one sign of fish can be the difference between catching and not catching. And you might end up discovering where the majority, the bulk of the fish are actually holding up, and can often lead on to a successful session. Also, the carp are more active during those hours of darkness during those colder months, so keeping your ears open during those longer nights just to really sort of build a picture of where those fish are sort of congregating, so you can make it a more successful session. My next tip is leading on very nicely in that staying mobile. If you hear a few fish down one end of the lake, you want to be making the most of that and packing up the gear and moving on top of them and locating those carp, because again, if you're not on the fish, you're not going to catch them, and staying mobile is really going to help you catch those fish. My next tip is to scale your tackle down, and what I mean by that is not necessarily scaling your terminal tackle down, but scaling down the amount of kit that you carry. During the winter I tend to do more day sessions, so I'll only carry the bare essentials on those day sessions, and that gives me less of an excuse. If I see fish down the upper end, it gives me less of an excuse to pack up the gear and get rounding onto those fish, and it just keeps me more mobile while I'm on the bank, and fishing from the barrow is another great way to do that. My fifth and final tactic for carp fishing during the colder months is solid PVA bags. I don't think there's a tactic that's more potent than a solid PVA bag at this time of year. A nice mouth-sized parcel full of attraction, full of small food items alongside your bait. When a carp comes over, it takes it all up in one go, the perfect bite at a time tactic. Hopefully you found some of these tips useful, and hopefully it helps to put a few more fish on the bank for you this winter.